This is a very significant day for taxi drivers, as well as for the Bahamas Paradise Cruises, and for those persons who work at the Freeport Harbor. Today really is a significant day for taxi drivers in Grand Bahama, particularly those who operate from the Freeport Harbor. Taxis have continued to struggle for business in Grand Bahama really for many years. It also cannot be denied that there continues to be inequality in the business that taxi drivers receive at the harbor. To this end, we are very pleased that an agreement has been arrived at between the taxi union and the Bahamas Paradise Cruises that operate the Celebration and Grand Classic vessels. I wish to first of all commend the taxi union, particularly their president, President Jones, who continues to fight for more involvement and more business for taxi drivers. They have ably brought this issue to the attention of the government. I also wish to thank the principals of Bahamas Paradise Cruises, who are represented here by Mr. Oneil, who responded to the call of the government to arrive at an amicable resolution which would be fair to the taxi drivers at the harbor. While this does not resolve all of the issues the taxi drivers have, it does represent a significant step forward for taxi drivers. I'm informed by the taxi union president, Mr. Jones, that as a result of this agreement, taxis are receiving an additional estimated $10,000 a week or $40,000 a month worth of new business at the Freeport Harbor. What makes this business even more important is the taxis are able to build relationships with their passengers who are staying on the island overnight, and therefore can arrange future trips which will result in a better experience for the guests and more economic activity for the driver. It is also worth mentioning that in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism, we negotiated an airlift agreement with Sunwing and now have the return of the Vacation Express. It has been previously announced that a total of 8 non-stop flights departing from various U.S. cities have already begun their scheduled trips this month. Flights from Detroit, Chicago, Nashville, Pittsburgh, Newark, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Dallas will be operated by Swift Air. We were happy to welcome the first of these trips last week. The Ministry of Tourism projects yielding a potential of 16,000 passengers annually. These flights have already started, and I'm informed they are bringing much needed additional taxi business at the international airport. While we are pleased for these developments, the government is also continuing the negotiations with the Grand Bahama Sen, which I am sure is of very much interest, high interest with the taxi drivers and high interest with Bahamas Paradise Cruises. And it is important for really all of the tourism stakeholders, and would like to keep the public obviously informed of what's happening. We agree with the developer Paul Wynn that although these negotiations are, and they continue to be, very complex, we believe that we are at the end of this process. We look forward to the renovations and full opening of the Grand Bahama Sen very shortly. We are also very encouraged by the negotiations with the Grand Palm Acquisitions Limited, and the former GIN project, which we expect to finalize a heads of agreement very soon, which will allow for this development to fully proceed. So today we are very pleased that we have arrived at and that the taxi union and the Bahamas Paradise Cruises have been able to arrive at a amicable arrangement with respect to providing more taxi business and providing more passengers for taxi drivers to be able to transport. We are happy at the news that this will translate and has already begun to translate into more dollars into the taxi drivers' pocket, and with an estimated amount of an additional $10,000 per week in taxi drivers' pocket. And while we are pleased, we are not finished. We still have a whole lot more work to do. And so the government is continued and dedicated to ensuring that we complete this work here in Grand Bahama. So I'm going to invite Mr. Oneil from Bahamas Paradise, and then we'll invite the taxi union to also say a few words as well. Sure.
He didn't sleep all night.
Well, good morning. I'm Mr. Oneil, who is the owner of the Bahamas Paradise and the captain of the Grand Celebration, and of course our hotel director. We are very happy to be part of this program that is now going to be such a positive aspect on Grand Bahama Island. More business means more people happy and so forth, and 10,000 guests a week average do leave its mark on the island. We are now on the level of the mega ships. That's what we bring to the island, thanks to Mr. Oneil and his people. We are very happy to be part of this program, this development. So we wish you all the best in the future, and I hope to get more business into the island. I bike right here once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes, and yes, I take a look at the traffic. I'm the one with the black bicycle outfit and so forth. That's me.
State your first name, last name, and your title again, please.
Sverre Søvsnes from Norway. And a real wife.
Could you spell it, your first name?
Captain of the Grand Celebration.
SVERRE.
SVERRE, yes, correct. SOVDSNES. I'm from Norway and a real Viking.
Okay.
Good morning to everyone. This is a significant day, and the day for the public service drivers, taxi drivers. It's been a long, hard road, but today we must say it is a step in the right direction. We want the taxi drivers to know we will continue to make sure their benefits are better for them. We will continue to make sure that we improve our product. And as we get an increase in business, I'm asking the taxi drivers to increase in service as well. But we want to congratulate the celebration. We sat down, we negotiated. It was a tough negotiation, but at the end of the day, it was an amicable agreement. So again, we will continue to move forward in the right direction. So again, thank you very much.
Mr. Jones, can you provide more details of this agreement? How did you guys arrive to say that 10,000?
This is such a wonderful agreement, meaning we always believe that the tour operator should be allowed to carry all the tour business on the island. But what we are doing today, the taxi drivers are taking what we call the overnight guests, the luggage persons. So that is very significant. What we will do then, since we already started this business, I assure you the bakeries down at Penders Point it's very hard now for them to keep bread on the shelf, because that is one of our first stops that we take our tourists. So we're saying to the public, and the public was always on our side. They would tell us, well, how come it is so unfair that one person would take all the business? So now I want to thank the public for that. But here's what we are doing now. We will be taking these persons to Williamstown, down to West End, because now the taxi drivers has first time doing those things. And that has been a challenge for us for years. So we believe once we are able to do that, you will see some movement around the island, which will put monies into other small vendors' pocket, because the taxi drivers are now moving those guests.
Anyone else?
Maybe I want to say something a little bit. Thank you, everyone. I think we are happy when our minister is happy and when the head of our taxi union is happy, right? So, it's very important for our guests to feel comfortable and to feel safe and to feel wanted. And as you know, the name of our cruise line is Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line. We are pretty committed to the Bahamas, to Freeport. And when it was brought to our attention that taxis needed help, it was very natural for us to step up, because we are so in sync and in so much in tune with what happens in Freeport that we are not removed from the process or whatever happens here. So we felt it was the right thing to do, not only from a business perspective but also from a humanitarian perspective, because we don't want our partners to be unhappy. Having said that, I think taxi union has stepped up. They have committed to us the taxis would be in good shape, and the least and the last thing anyone wants is a non-satisfied guest. So I think it's a joint venture, it's a joint effort to keep the consumer happy, but at the same time help the taxis, help Freeport, and help the business. And I think our minister played a very critical role. He was very adamant that this be done, but for the right reasons, as I said, and hopefully we will continue to increase this business, because as we have more satisfied customers and there are no complaints and everything is maintained on schedule, we as a cruise line, at the end of the day, we want a satisfied customer, and that is true for taxis and for Freeport as well. So I think it's a win-win for all, and thank you very much.
Excellent.
Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute.